Hi, this is Julie with Beadaholique. In this video, I want to teach you how to make a pretty little gemstone earring. And for it, we're going to be using some Carnelian gemstones. We have faceted teardrops as well as faceted heart briolettes. So really pretty stones. And this is a pretty simple earring to make. For the actual structure, we're going to be using artistic wire. I have a 26 gauge gold and then just a simple earring hook. For tools, you'll need a pair of chain nose pliers, wire looping pliers, and a pair of cutters. Let me show you how to do this. We're going to start by wire wrapping our little heart briolettes. And to do so, we're going to need 3 lengths of wire, about 3 inches long each. You don't have to be precise, 3-4 inches. You're going to take the wire and you're going to feed it through the little hole at the top of the briolette. And then you're going to slide it down, and you want to make your wires crisscross but leave one end longer than the other. So wires crisscross. And then the end that's only got about 1 inch on it, go ahead and twist that, so just wrap that around the longer wire. And then trim off the tail. Now you're going to take your wire looping pliers, and right above where you went ahead and looped the other wire, go ahead and use your wire looping pliers to make a loop on top of where you just wrapped it. So just like that. So the wire looping pliers do half the work for you. Pull it all the way around, rotate your pliers up to the top, and then you just using your hand, make a number of loops around your wire. And you can do as many or as few as you want in this case. I would just recommend making sure you do at least 1 complete loop for security reasons. Okay, after you've got your loops, trim off your tail and take your chain nose pliers to go ahead and push that tail into your wraps so you don't have a tail that would poke out and poke you. So there's 1. We're going to do all 3 of them in the same fashion. These are so tiny and so pretty. So there we go. Just finishing up wire wrapping our briolettes. So now they all have a nice little loop up top, which is going to make them very easy to attach to our earring. So now we've got these 3 pretty teardrops, and you can see their facets. So again, we're going to take 3 separate lengths of wire, and this one you want to have just a wee bit longer. I'd say 4 to 5 inches long. And it's nice because 26 gauge wire is super flexible. Very, very easy to work with. So in this case, we're going to start by creating a wrapped wire loop, just a standalone one. So we're going to start the wrapped wire loop, like so. So we've got a loop. But before we actually put the wraps all around it, I'm going to just slightly open it, and I'm going to slide on one of my little heart briolettes. Now I'm going to grab right below where the wires crisscross, so the actual loop itself, and now I'm going to make my wraps. I'm going to do 2 to 3 wraps. And you see that I'm pulling the wire out and straight, the long length of wire. So I don't want that to be kinked. And by doing wrapped wire loops, you are creating a very secure structure. So trim off the tail. If there's a rough end, push it into the wraps. And now go ahead and place the wire through one of the teardrop beads. And then right above it, you're going to create another wrapped wire loop. And I love these wire looping pliers because they actually let me hold on to the whole piece as I'm doing my wrapping. And if you've seen my other videos, you know I'm a big fan of these pliers. They're just a really nifty tool that comes in handy. Saves a lot of work. Okay, so now we've got the base of our earring. And we're going to create another wrapped wire loop. And same deal, before we do the wraps, we are going to not only slide on a briolette, but we're going to slide on that piece we just created with the teardrop, and then also a briolette. Then grab the loop and make your wrappings. And it's nice to tuck in that tail as you go, so you don't have to go back and do it later. Okay, I need another teardrop. So you see how we're just building up this design. And another wrapped wire loop. And if you wanted this to look a little bit more wire heavy, you would just keep doing your wraps. So what you could do is just keep going and spiraling it down along the bead. It would be purely for aesthetic reasons at that point, but you can definitely do it if you want it to look a little bit more wire wrappy. Okay, last one. Here we go, it's our final one, and we're just going to put it on it. And this time we are going to create that wrapped wire loop, but we're not going to have anything else to add to the top because our earring hook has an open loop at the base for us. So trim it, tuck it in. And now we'll open the loop at the base of our earring hook the same way you'd open a jump ring. And then just slide on your wrapped wire loop. And really make sure that you close this loop very nicely and tightly because you are attaching onto it such a thin gauge wire. It would be easy for it to slip out of the loop if your loop is not really closed very well. But there we go. We have a matched set of really pretty gemstone earrings using faceted heart briolettes and faceted teardrops. You can find the supplies for these earrings as well as other wire wrapping projects at Beadaholique.com.